Yeah. Good. Everyone's joining in. Awesome. Well, I'm gonna get started. While everyone's joining in, I think we've got only an hour, so I want to make sure that we get the most of it. But keep in the chat. I'd love to know where you're joining from, what genre of photography you're doing, and whether you're a newbie, hobbyist, part-time, or full-time. I know there's some familiar names in here, like Tracy and Stacy, and obviously you, Joanne. Marsha's here too. So yeah, it's great to see all the familiar faces. Joe, thanks for coming in and joining. It's great to see all the familiar faces. I hope this next hour will be, really useful for you, or at least you get some insight. But I just want to say that because you're here, I've got some bonuses for you guys. They're just little quick guides, and then I'll also announce one person to have a strategy call with me as well. So thank you for joining in because you've joined live and you've taken the time out of your day. You'll get some nice bonuses. And yeah, make sure you stay till the end. Make sure you keep watching until the end, and we'll do some kind of exercise as well towards the end of this webinar. So just so that you are in the right place, this is for you if you are a photographer and you're amazing at capturing photos and capturing the personality of dogs. And I know some of you guys are very, very talented photographers, I know, but sometimes maybe you can't fill your calendar consistently, or you're relying on referrals or luck, but you really want some more predictable ways to create steady bookings. Or you're tired of posting constantly on social media and the algorithms just not showing them to your clients or to the right clients, and attracting bargain hunters instead of your dream clients who value your art, and that you dread the feast-or-famine roller coaster. Does these all resonate with you? Type in the chat which one of these resonates with you most. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Let me know if this really resonates with you. Or are you smashing it and actually getting really consistent bookings? Okay, I see here 3, yep. Social media, definitely. Yep. It's social media algorithm these days. It's so hard to get your posts seen. You have to really constantly post, but then that gets really tiring. So I want to cover ways that you can do it, get visible without constantly posting on social media. Finding the right clients, all good. So this is great. So this all resonates with you, which is great. So the goal of our time together, and I'll be going for about 60 minutes to 75 minutes. I'm going to try to stick to the time, but the goal is to make sure we look at the way you think about marketing and reset it so that you can see that you need a system or some kind of marketing plans that attract consistent clients to your photography business without spending loads of time or money. And I'm going to walk you through some of the 3 overlooked marketing shifts that's keeping photographers stuck. These are the shifts that's going to help you break free from the feast-or-famine cycle with a system that delivers predictable bookings. Now, because we have that only short time together, I just want to ask is it okay if I share with you at the end where you can get further helps if these ideas resonate with you. And my final ask as well is that you take actions on the ideas that resonate, because learning something is one thing, but actually implementing it and taking action is another. Who here consider themselves to be an action taker? Type yes if you consider yourself to be an action taker. Yep, awesome. Awesome. I see a lot of action takers. I love it. One of the biggest things I've learned this last month from one of my mastermind coaching that I'm in is that action taker equals money maker. So remember that, action taker equals money maker. I have that put on a post-it note on my desktop so I can see it and it reminds me every single day. So just remember that and let's dive in. And sorry, my voice might go because I woke up this morning with a cold. So there might be a few times where I might have to cough. So I'm sorry about that. It's very unfortunate that I woke up this morning with itchy throat and sore throat. But hopefully we'll get through it without too much problems. Now, this session isn't for you if you're looking for just an overnight fix, but don't plan to take any action because as I mentioned, we do need to take action to make sure that we implement what we learn. It's not for you if you're not open to learning new systems or rethinking about how you market. And I want to make sure that we cover quite a bit in here and actually put in what we learn and implement it, because there's some quick exercise that we'll do at the end, which hopefully will get you started on, your marketing system. So, is that good? We ready to dive in? Oh, thanks, Nina. Love the photos. Thanks, Anduni. All right, so I want to introduce myself if you don't know me already, and I know I see a lot of familiar faces in here, so it's really great that you guys are here to support me. My name is Ina, and I'm a pet photographer based in Canberra, Australia. I see a lot of you guys here are in the US, so I'm coming from the future. It's Friday here, Friday morning. It's Halloween. Halloween's not a big thing here, but I did do a Halloween photo with a couple of little pets the other day. I've been doing photography as a hobby for so long. I loved photography when I was in high school. I did the whole darkroom photography and film photography, but I never really thought about it as a career. After I graduated uni, I bought my first digital SLR and I loved it so much that I started doing it as a side hustle. I actually went to a lot of Flickr meetups. Does anyone remember? I don't know if it's just me because I don't know if I can see myself old, but Flickr back in the days. Who here knows Flickr? Yeah. I see a few nods. Yeah, so I used to go to those Flickr meetups and I ended up assisting other photographers for events, did second shoots for weddings, and then I ended up doing some family portraits, newborns, maternity, and everything really. Newborns was, I don't know why I did that. I did not enjoy it at all, but I never really made any money from it. Maybe like a maximum of like $5,000 a year. So I never thought it was really a thing. And coming from an Asian background, my parents expected me to go to a job where I get constant secure income. So I ended up doing a business degree and worked as a assistant finance manager. But in 2020, that's really when it all changed. That's when I lost my heart dog, Mac. He had heart failure and he was only 9. I was looking for an outdoor pet photographer at the time that would capture his personality. He was a bit weird with people, so he wasn't keen on a lot of people. So trying to capture his personality was quite hard, and I couldn't find someone that would capture that personality that he has, that I know of him, and also my connection and bond with him, because although I had so many photos that I've taken myself of him, I didn't have many photos with him. And yeah, so that's really when I started my pet photography business. I thought this was a chance for me to help others to create something that I didn't get for myself. And I was still working in the government full time then as a business analyst. I sort of switched over from accounting to business analyst role, and I started doing photography on the side. And I hired a business coach in 2020 and it just kept growing. Eventually in 2022, I quit my 9 to 5 job and jumped into this full time. It was the scariest thing, the biggest leap that I've made. It terrified me. I was worried about, how it all would work. And yeah, it was just really scary. So that was a big change. And then one of the things that's happened, I started getting bookings a lot, but there was a time probably about 2 years ago where I had a few months with no bookings, and I was panicking because I thought I'm going to go I'm going to go to get a job again. I need to go get a job. I need to go back to public service because I wasn't making any money. And I was really scrambling. And I think one of the biggest thing is really having a system that really helped me. I didn't have it back then because when I was busy, I had sessions booked, I was shooting, I was editing, I was delivering all the client orders, but I left marketing on the side because I thought I've got to do all the work. I've got to deliver the client's orders. I've got to edit the photos. But I wasn't working in the business to market for future work to get the bookings. So then when the bookings dried up, that's when I start panicking and scrabbling, trying to market. And by that time, it was too late because then I had no bookings. So I would then start scrambling and trying to find ways to create offers and get booking. Now, I would love to know, do you only market when you're quiet, or are you putting in your marketing efforts consistently, even when you're busy? I would love to know. Susan, yes, they are Havanese. That's right. Not consistent when you have time. Yep, only when slow. Yes. Yeah, very inconsistent. And it happens. It's not just you, because it happened to me too. But I guess that was the wake-up call that I needed, because this was also after I came back from a trip from Iceland where I did a pet photography retreat there. So I had a lot of expenses going out and I was struggling to pay my bills. So I knew that that day I really needed to dramatically change something in my business, because if I wanted to have a successful business, or even just to have a business that is profitable and sustainable, I needed something that allowed me to be proactive to generate bookings consistently. I needed some kind of system and a plan, and something that doesn't just rely on social media, because I was posting on social media and those posts aren't being seen. I'm finding that my Facebook posts aren't being seen by many people at all. So I needed something that I could actually use to generate clients even when I was busy. So this is where I started looking at how, I wanted to look at what marketing systems can I do, what different strategies I can put in. So I wanted a complete, holistic, sustainable system. So I learned everything I could. And this time I didn't just create a plan, but also implemented it. So I made marketing into a habit, not a panic response. And the result, within the last 2 years, I've consistently generated very consistent bookings, and I've had, between 15,000 to 40,000 monthly gross revenue, which is great. And even when I'm fully booked, I am still running campaigns so that I have bookings within 1 to 3 months out. And I put I've implemented marketing as a habit. So by doing this, I've basically created a plan. It's like a 12-month marketing calendar that mapped out exactly what I would do. And I also then looked at the 90-day focus to make sure that I always keep track on what is coming ahead in the next quarter. I would break it down into small tasks, and also then how I would reach my ideal clients, what channels I'm using, what messaging I'm doing at every stage of a journey. And it's not just active marketing, it's also passive marketing. So combining all of these different marketing strategies, both active marketing, mapping it out onto a calendar, and then breaking it into little tasks, and then actually implementing it even when I was busy, that's when I started then bringing bookings consistently 4 to 3 months ahead. Now, because I have this 12-month marketing calendar and it's a habit, it's now, I don't have that scrambling mode where I'm going, oh my gosh, I have no bookings today or next week. I know now I have bookings already in November and December and even January. And within this last 2 years, I've managed to build a 6-figure business. And I'm actually also not working constantly. I take time off. I do have my weekends, which are Mondays and Sundays. I do have some assistants that I have helped me delegated my work, but it means that I've got consistent bookings. I have no more panic. There's no more of the feast and famine roller coaster. So the big challenge is this consistent marketing. And I'm not special. I'm not any more talented than you, and I'm not a better photographer than you. I know some of you are actually amazing photographers and have amazing work. I've just figured out how to approach marketing with a system instead of just hoping and posting and doing it when I'm scrambling for bookings. But I want to ask you, with any of these challenges that you have, I wanted to see whether this all sounds familiar. So, having no clear plan, marketing feels messy and reactive, and you're relying on social media and waiting for people to find you. Does that resonate with you? Is that what you're doing right now? All of this? Yep. Awesome. I can see that. I'm looking at my other laptop here so I can see who's in the chat. Yes, except social media. Okay. That's good. So are you, Michelle? You're not relying on social media, so that's good. That's really good to know. The first two. Yeah, awesome. Wow, that's awesome. All right. This is good. This is a big challenge that everyone have. It's very common, so it's not just you. The other thing that people struggle is you're struggling to communicate your value. You know you're good at what you do. You create beautiful work and you create beautiful photos, but when it comes to explaining why someone should choose you, why your prices are what they are, you freeze up or you're not sure how to communicate it. So then maybe you lower your price because you think that's the only way to compete or attract clients. And then you attract clients who don't value your work. And it's not because you're not talented, because your photos are probably amazing, but it's just you're not communicating your value effectively. Does this resonate with you? Yep. Yes. Yep. Definitely. Very hard to explain why portrait investment is better than phone pics. Yes, Susan. Totally agree. This is a common thing. So I've had these challenges too. And I guess here's what I discovered. This is what's possible when you have a good marketing system. I think, Joe, you mentioned you've got a big picture plan, but other things get in the way. So it's actually being able to have this system and then implementing it. So a predictable marketing system that helps you generate bookings consistently is really important, but also knowing how to attract your dream clients who love your art and value what you do. So it's not just having the system, but also the messaging. And by doing this, I figured out how to approach this marketing with a system, knowing how to talk to clients and how to create a messaging and to also show the value in what you do. So what I want to leave you with today is that when you have this system set up and also knowing how to create the messaging, how to talk to your ideal clients and really talk to that one ideal client, not just many people, because when you're talking to everyone, you're pretty much talking to no one. You need to communicate your message and value confidently and start attracting the right clients. So, why am I telling you this? Because I know if what happened with me a couple of years ago, you probably reach a point where you want to sustainably grow your business. It might be a part-time business for now, and you might want to make this a full-time business, or you just really want to get more consistent bookings from your business. without relying on just social media or waiting for people to find you. And having this really then allowed me to have a bit more freedom because I'm no longer panicking. So, the big thing, as I said, the predictable marketing system helps you generate bookings. So this slides was basically what I was talking about before. Attracting your dream clients who love and value what you do. And by having this, you're no longer scrambling, which means you're going to have a bit more of creative freedom. And you can have a bit of time with your family, with your pets, with your dogs, and also do time for your personal projects and do what you love. So this is what I really want you to have as well. Now, how do you relate to my journey so far? Does all these challenges resonate with you? I can see there's been a lot of people saying, yep, has been the biggest struggle to do everything. You stop marketing because busy, because you can't do more, because of another full-time job. Totally understand, Jody. Yep. I was working a full-time job too before, and I was trying to do so many sessions at once and then trying to market as well. So I see it. We've all been there. But the good news is if I figured it out, I know you can too. So I want to go dive into the 3 shifts that changed everything for me. And we're going to do the exercise at the end. But okay, here's a secret. There isn't any secret really. It's just 3 different ways that you need to shift how you look at your marketing, because sometimes these 3 shifts are very simple, but they might be overlooked and they're really powerful. So when you make this shift, hopefully everything will change. The first thing, as I said, stop relying on algorithms and waiting for people to find you. So this is one of the biggest things that keeps most photographers stuck, because I know social media is a big thing these days. Everyone's on social media. You're on Instagram, always doom scrolling for reels. I do that too from time to time. And then you're posting on social media, but you get no engagement. You don't get seen. The algorithm isn't showing it to the right people. Or you're just waiting for people to find you on Google, on Instagram. You're waiting for referrals, hoping that someone will stumble across your website. And it's not working, because let me show you why. Like, sometimes people, especially for pet photography, they're not necessarily looking for pet photography. And also on Instagram, all of these platforms, the algorithm changes all the time. There's always some kind of new features. There's always some new rules, and they can shut down your account anytime. I've had one time where they've somehow deactivated my account. Thankfully, it was only for a moment, because something happened with my account and that nearly freaked me out. But thankfully, I got it back. But this can happen anytime, and you haven't got any control over your reach and results. And yes, posting more might eventually lead in bookings, but it doesn't always equal more bookings. And having a viral post doesn't mean that you get bookings from that. I know there's people who have had 100,000 views, million views, but how many bookings did they actually get from that? So relying on social media and algorithms and having your post go viral is not a marketing strategy. It's just hoping that people will eventually book from there. So I want you to really see that it is a good way to be visible. I don't recommend stopping it. Like, I still recommend that you do have it as part of your marketing strategy, but I don't want you to rely on it 100% as the main platform. Now, type in the chat, have you ever felt like you're posting constantly on social media, but you're not getting any engagements or any bookings from it? Yes? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I see a lot of you saying yes. I have the same too. I do post regularly on social media, but I know not a lot of my posts get engagement, and I don't necessarily get bookings from it. That's right, Michelle. Yeah. When you do, you get a little engagement. So this is what you should do instead. You don't rely on social media. Have it there as a passive marketing strategy that you do to create visibility. But what you need to do instead is to market strategically. You plan in advance, you repeat it, and you use different channels. So that means don't just rely on social media. You're using email, in person, partnerships, reaching out to other businesses with partnerships, going to networking events. Use multiple different channels together, and then speak to your ideal clients, making sure that you're not trying to appeal to everyone, because again, as I said, if you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to one. You want to speak directly to the people who really are your dream clients. Who is it that you want to work with? What are the type of people you want to work with? Are they dog lovers who love to spend outside time with their dog, who love adventure? There may be single professionals. So really hone in on your ideal client, and then create incentives for your ideal clients to book in. That doesn't mean necessarily lowering your prices or discounting, but create some kind of incentives so that they then get curious and decide to book in. And once you start looking at all of this strategically, you know that when you run a campaign, you track your numbers, you'll see how many leads you get, and you can work out how many bookings you get. You repeat it. If it works, then you repeat it again. And this is what a strategic marketing looks like. And then it creates consistent bookings. That's what I've done in my business. I've basically just run marketing campaigns. I make sure I track the numbers, track all the leads, the sales, the conversions, and then repeat what works and tweaks what doesn't. So if I found that something doesn't work, then I'll look back and go, well, what is it that I need to tweak? Is it the offer? Is it the messaging? Or is it the channel? Or is it maybe it's just not the right audience? How did I discover my ideal client? Well, I've been doing this for about nearly 6 years now. It's really looking at who I love working with. So I know I love working with people who are pretty much similar to me, who love their dogs like they're a part of the family. They spend time with their dog. They cancel events if they can't bring their dog. That's what I do. If I've got someone asking me, oh, you want to go out, for dinner? I was like, well, can I bring my dog? If not, then I don't really want to go out. I'd rather spend time with my dog. They love taking their dogs everywhere with them, and really honing in on those people that you love. The clients that love the photos of their dog, they're obsessed with their dog, they talk about their dogs all the time, and they're proud that they're a crazy dog lady. I am a crazy dog lady. I've got 3 dogs, and I'm constantly talking about them. It's all really through experience, and also through, I serve around between 80 to 100 clients a year. And so I know, those clients that I really love working with, those are the qualities that I pick from that. Those are my ideal clients. Does that answer your questions, Nina? Yeah, awesome. Perfect. Yes, awesome. Yeah. So putting this, I guess, all together, having that strategic marketing, planning it, and then repeating what works and what doesn't, and actually planning out throughout the year is going to help you create more predictable results and create consistent bookings. And as I said, sustainable bookings come from rhythm and systems, not algorithms. In terms of creating incentives and building desire, so planning out that marketing and creating different incentives. For me, one of my biggest successful campaigns have been competitions at local pet events. I'm creating an incentive for clients to book in there. At events, I always have 2 goals, and that is having a special offer that they can book in, and that's only an event special, only available on the day. And the main thing is collecting leads, lead generation, collecting people's contact details. because if I have their contact details, their emails, I can nurture them. They might not be ready to buy that day because a lot of the time when people go to events or markets or expos, they might not be ready to buy then, but having, an offer there might then trigger something in them going, oh, that's interesting. I've never thought about pet photography, or I've never thought about family photography. It then starts building desire, and you're going to create an incentive for them. So what I do at events is I do a competition giveaway, and I know some people say, oh, you can't get good clients from giveaways. That's not the case. I've had clients who have spent $2,000 to $6,000 to $7,000 from these events. And with that, I usually offer some kind of a major prize, which is a wall art plus a print credit. And then everyone else or runner-ups gets a complimentary session plus a print or a print credit. Oh yes, thanks Caitlin. Yes, I do about 80 to 100 a year. So yeah, the key is actually creating an incentive and building desire. And then making sure that you collect emails and phone from everyone who enters the competition. And then I follow up those with an automated email sequence that nurtures the leads. So I always make sure that I send an email right after they enter. I actually get them to reply to the email, so that way my email marketing system makes sure that it doesn't go to their spam. And then I send them a nurturing email sequence before I start contacting them within the next following few days. The main thing as well, I also track every single campaigns that I do, so that I know how many leads entered, how many booked in for consultations, how many booked in, total sales. So then I can see whether it's worked or not. And where it's not worked, I can then work out, look into whether it's the offer, whether it's the event. But making sure that you're tracking and measuring everything is really important. And because this has repeatedly worked for me over the past 2.5, 3 years, I repeat this this campaign every single time I have an event in my area. For example, last year I attended a Dog's Day Out event at this big flower festival in Canberra. I think I had about 50 or 60 people entered, and I booked in 10 people and generated $25,000 in sales from this. And I paid around $500, I think, to be at the event all day. So for the return on investment, to spend $500 a whole day to get $25,000, that's pretty good. And again, this isn't random. It's strategic, and then it's repeatable because you know that it's going to bring in leads and bookings every single time. And the best part of it is I've just set it up once and I just repeat it. I have the same banner, the same QR code, the same landing page, and what I do each time is just tweak either the offer that I'm doing or tweak the email nurturing. How do I get them to reply? Is there just one winner? Okay, Lauren, sometimes I try a few different things. So there are times where I do just have one winner, which is the major prize, and then I do 10 to 20 runner-ups. But I contact everyone because when I contact them, I give them a limited time to enter. And I said, a limited time to claim. If you don't claim, then I'll contact the next batch of 10 to 20 people. How do I get them to reply, Joe? In the email, so I have an email that goes out to them and say, you've entered the giveaway. Thanks for entering. Just a quick favor. Can you reply, got it, to that, so that I make sure that you get this email and that this email doesn't go to your spam. And I mentioned it to them at the event as well. Nina, I do use a system and software, so I do have a CRM, but I use Zapier to kind of put it into an Excel spreadsheet so that I can work out how many people book in, how many people entered, how many people then book the consult, and how many people book in. So I do have a CRM. Have you had success with similar giveaway, but from a wall display in a vet office? I haven't tried a giveaway from a wall display at a vet office, Susan, But I have tried something like this just using Facebook ads. So last year, International Dog Day, I did a giveaway, which was a major prize collaborating with 3 or 4 other businesses. So I had about, 4 businesses, like some accessory brand, a treat brand, a couple of other brands, which I can't remember. Sorry. And I did that one. I just did a Facebook ad, and a social media post. And I think I was looking at let me have a look at my metrics. I spent $400 on that ad. I got 74 leads and I booked in 18 bookings from that 74 leads and I made 38,000. So for a $400 spend, that's a pretty good investment, I think. Yeah. So having these different market campaigns, this is just one example. I would recommend having a few different active campaigns that generate bookings throughout the year and actually mapping it out in the calendar and planning it even when you're busy, breaking it down into little chunks of tasks and actually go, well, what do I need to create for this campaign? Do I need a landing page? Do I need an email nurture sequence? And then breaking it down into little tasks so that it doesn't feel overwhelming. I hope that helps. I think I've answered all the questions. Let me have a look. Yep, awesome. All right. Are you ready to shift your mindset? Are you ready to stop relying on social media algorithms and start actually marketing strategically? And actually plan your marketing in advance, tracking what works, and create a lot of system. Type ready in the chat if you're ready to make this shift. Yeah, awesome. Yes. Awesome. Before I go in, I want to cover the second shift that really, again, gets overlooked. And this is the belief that's keeping photographers undercharging. And I know some of you are actually charging good pricing already, so I don't think you have this problem. But I know this does come, it's quite common in a lot of photographers these days. And one of the biggest things is really, this is the thoughts that come in. This is what some of the false beliefs that are keeping photographers stuck. People won't pay that much for photography, or people won't pay that much for pet photography. Or maybe you're thinking, my area is cheap. People here just don't value photography. Or maybe there are so many cheap photographers out there. How can I compete? And what do? You then lower your prices, you offer discount, you then try to compete on price. But when you do this, you then attract bargain hunters and people who are comparing based on price, who don't value your work. And then you have to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard for half of the money, and then you get burnt out. Does this resonate with you? Have you ever thought any of these 3 thoughts? Yep. All. Yeah. See, I see a lot of you saying yes. It's definitely a belief that's very common. A lot, Rebecca. Yep, especially the last one. And it's true. Photography tends to be a very saturated market. And Tracy, I love that. And I think what you're doing is amazing, Tracy. So I just have to call out Tracy Munson, because you're in a small area, right, Tracy? You don't have many people. Like, feel free to come off mute.
No, I live in a pretty remote area, yes.
And you're charging like pretty high prices and you still have clients, right?
I do. And the area of Canada that I live in is like known for being probably the most economically depressed part of Canada.
Oh, wow.
And B, also for people like pride themselves on being frugal and modest. You know, they're not really into big sort of like showings of wealth
Yeah.
and stuff.
Interesting.
It's
And what's your average sale, can I ask?
somewhere around 2000.
Amazing. So it's possible. And what's the population that you said?
Well, I mean, my actual
Yeah.
village where I live is like around 100.
Oh my God. Okay.
So, so but most of my clients, and I have to drive 50 minutes or so to get to like a stoplight or anything.
A very, very
But
small
then,
town.
yeah, so my nearest town is Moncton, New Brunswick, and
Uh,
that I think has a population around 80,000
okay.
and maybe 160,000 in kind of like the greater area.
Yeah, so it's not big
So
at
very
all.
big.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. But you still have people who are paying. So I think you've proven this belief wrong because it's not the case. There's still going to be people who are going to value photography. And when you do undercharge, you're going to attract those people. So I think what you said here is you don't need to lower your prices. You don't need to do a discount. You just need better messaging. And I think that's what you've done, Tracy, to actually create something that people are willing to pay for and also communicating your value. And that's probably what you're doing really well. So these are really the biggest thing is being able to have a better messaging so that you're attracting the people who are your people who value photography, who understands that you're not just clicking a button or clicking shutter, but you're creating beautiful artwork and memories and communicating the value so that people are willing to invest in beautiful images of their beloved pets or their family. And they exist. You just need to find them and speak to them. And the way you do that is by communicating that value. And it's all about the messaging. And it's not just communicating value, but also how you communicate that value. You need to be able to communicate it confidently because you need to also believe that people are willing to pay these prices. You need to believe that your work is a value for what they are. And when you communicate this value confidently, you're going to show the people, you can show the people the experience that they're going to have, the emotion that they're going to feel, and the beautiful artwork that they're going to treasure. Then, these clients are going to say yes. I've got, different clients who really love artwork and they keep coming back every year. They really value the photography. They value the beautiful artwork that they get of their dog, and they don't ask for discount. They don't price shop. They book you because they see the value. Caitlin, you struggle with people just wanting to purchase digital files, even though we are trying to push artwork. Yes, I still get asked for digital files, and what I do, I say, yes, I do digital files, but it's basically the artwork comes with the digital files. And I tell my client, yes, we live in a digital world these days, and I show them the importance of having these beautiful artworks. And because I have them all over my walls, they can see it. They can see that it's just stunning in person and having a difference of just having it on your phone and lost in camera roll. When I say, people, if you've got photos of your dog, they start scrolling the camera roll or trying to find the photos. They're like, see, you probably struggle to find them because you've got so many thousands of photos. I do actually, I don't say no digital sales, but what I do is I price my digitals the same way as the print because for me, I want to make sure the prints are printed in a good quality print and that they don't just print somewhere cheap like Walmart or in Australia, Officeworks or Kmart, where the colors might not turn out great. So I said to them, you can purchase this as digitals as well if you want, but it's the same price because of the work that goes into it, and you'll be able to reprint it as much as you want. So it's just communicating that value, and I also show on my website. I focus on showing the artwork, and I talk about the artwork to clients. So artworks always come first, and then the digitals with the purchase. And I give my clients high-res digitals, the matching files with them. I know I haven't had issues at all with that. Yeah. Okay, digitals give sales from 800 to 1500, but you can't see more if they don't buy artwork. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just communicating that value. And, I think for me, I started introducing in-person consults in 2022, and that has really helped with my business. It's not necessarily for everyone. I think people have Zoom consults and having phone calls to really communicate the value and communicating the experience and client journey to people to show, what's really involved in the experience. So it's not just talking about the products. But I found that the in-person consults has been a game changing in my business, because before that, my average sale was around maybe $600 to $700. And now it's close to $3,000. And no, my photography probably didn't get better. It's just how I communicated my value. When I'm at the consults, I was showing people not just the photos, but the experience, the beautiful artwork, and actually helping them envision how these images look on their walls, and also connecting emotionally about their pet. Yes, Adrian, in-person consultation are a game changer. I am testing out there at the moment. I am offering both Zoom, Zoom and in-person. Again, I'm tracking them to test to see. But I have found that having that in-person consult has been really, really powerful, and connecting with them and showing them the prints, the wall art, actually handing it to them for letting them touch it and see it. And when people see the value and they feel the emotion, they're not going to hesitate to invest. As I said, you don't have to do this in person, but there's ways that you can communicate your value and messaging in all fronts. So showing artworks on your website, talking about the transformation, the experience, not just I'm going to take photos and, capture your dog's personality, showcasing, the whole process and the outcome as well, and the transformation. Showing testimonials. Video testimonials have been powerful, and that's something that I've been wanting to do more of, asking my clients about what they thought about the experience, the artwork. And also, like, for me, what's been really powerful, what I've been doing is when people are collecting their prints or when I'm delivering their artwork to them, I ask them if I can record, and I record them opening the print box or opening the wall art and seeing their reaction and expression for the first time, seeing them. And that's been really powerful. And I share that on my stories and on my socials. And my marketing experience of taking the photos. Yeah, so it's the whole client journey, Nina. It's about the whole experience, because it's not just about, here you go, you'll have a photo session and you'll get the photos and artwork. It's about me connecting with them, the in-person consultation, having the planning call, planning it out. What do they want to see? What sort of photos they want? For example, I had a client, I've got a client that's coming for an ordering appointment after this, actually today. Yeah, we had a consultation. They talked about what they wanted, what sort of photos and what sort of images they want. I had then another planning call before the session, and they sent me their wall photos already, so that we already planned out what they want even before the photo was taken. So I knew when I came to the session that they wanted 2 or 3 collages on the wall. One, a big one with the main photo, and then 3 below, and then another one with a 3 collage, and maybe a couple extra wall art. And they already prepaid $3,000 before the session even happened. So they've already invested in it, and I know they're going to spend a few more thousand this afternoon. So actually marketing the whole experience, not just, the photos, it's actually the planning session that involves, coming and seeing the photos in person, doing the in-person sales, and then the artwork. So the whole process. Does that make sense? Awesome. So this isn't my story. This is one of my clients' story as well. So I've been working with Unette. She's in Seattle, and she started by, trying to get this into the pet photography because she wasn't sure how to do it. She was thinking of just selling digitals because she was struggling to communicate the value of artwork. We worked on her messaging and her prices and also her confidence in how to communicate that value. So we incorporated the prints into her pricing and wall art. And she had her first wall art sale at $2,400. And recently she had another wall art sale for $2,700. So it's amazing. It's the same market. It's just the way she's messaging it, showing her artwork, and actually delivering the value and communicating the value with confidence. She was able to have a shift and actually, make some great sales. So the client bought 3 wall arts. So when you change your shift to going, I need to be cheaper to compete, to I need to communicate the value of my work better, everything will change. You'll stop attracting bargain hunters and actually start talking to the right clients. And because you're charging more, you don't have to work twice as hard for half of the money and actually start building a sustainable and profitable business. So I hope that's been really insightful. I want to go to the third shift because we've only got a few minutes left. Basically, the third shift is having a 90-day marketing framework, or even 12 months, but I really like to focus on the next 90 days because it's really important to look ahead, and usually bookings now create bookings. So marketing now create bookings for 1 to 3 months later. And systems create consistency. I think I've already said that multiple times. And as I mentioned before, a lot of people are doing, what I saw in the comments, that you're doing reactive marketing. You're planning week to week or month to month, or you're reacting on whatever's happening right now instead of planning ahead because you're busy with the work, you're busy with the shoots, you're busy with editing, and then when the calendar empty, then you start panicking. So you haven't got any visibility into your future months. And as a result, you're living in constant stress and uncertainty. And the solution, as I said, is having that marketing calendar, which is a simple, repeatable system, creating a rhythm, a system that becomes a habit. And I talked about a bit more how I did it before. So how you do it, as I said, we've got the components of the marketing calendar. Now, this is where I would recommend you start when you're planning out your marketing calendar. Make sure you identify your key dates. So if we're looking at the next 3 months, let's look at, for example, the start of the year, quarter 1. Look at the key dates. When are key events happening in your area? What are the key holidays? When are the school holidays? You've got Valentine's Day, you've got Mother's Day, you've got Christmas coming up. So map these out in your calendar and making sure you capture all the different key dates. And also all the other dates as well, like International Dog Day, which is in August 26th every year. You've also got, Father's Day, Mother's Day, all of these different dates where you can use to create an incentive or build desire to book in. Then you start plan out your offers, your marketing campaigns. What campaigns will you run in each month, in each quarter? And you're not just posting randomly, you're actually running intentional campaigns. And then map it out in your calendar. And then actually start planning the activities and break it down into smaller chunks of tasks. What do you need to do to build a habit each week as part of your campaigns? Do you need to do an email? Do you need to do social media? Do you need to create a blog post? Have a clear plan for each week and block it out in your calendar. And then track and measure. What is working? What isn't? How many leads is it generating, and how many people are booking in? Because that way you're going to pay attention to your results, and then you can adjust your plan accordingly. So this is the system that's going to help you create consistent bookings. All those days were created for marketing. Yes, Adrian, that's right. All of those are created for marketing. You've got lots of different days, and you can always use them to create as an incentive. So let's recap. We've talked about how we can stop relying on algorithms and start marketing strategically. running intentional campaigns that are on multi-channel and plan in advance. We need to stop undercharging and actually start communicating the value. You don't need to lower your prices, and you need a marketing message that communicates true value. And then stop reactive marketing and build a repeatable system and plan your marketing at least 90 days in advance. Market even when you're busy and not when you're desperate, and block it out in your calendar. Create a habit and not a panic response. These 3 shifts are going to transform your business. Now, I want to do a quick exercise if we have time, if you guys are willing to stay around. So I want you to start thinking about quarter 1. This is just going to help you brainstorm. You can then go away with these ideas. So grab a paper and pen, or you can open your notes app, whatever, you can jot down some information. And again, you'll have a replay of this. So if you don't get all the notes that you need for today, you can always replay it. So I want to start looking at 90 days. All right. The next 90 days, we need to look at what's on the calendar. You've got January, February, and March. You've got the key dates. You've got Valentine's Day. You've got the New Year's. Is there any events that's going on in those first 3 months? February, there's also National Love Your Pet Day, which I think is on February 20th. That's good. That could be a thing that's on Easter. I can't remember if it's Easter in March or April. Identify those key dates. Seasonal changes as well. You've got autumn in Australia or spring in the US. So looking at those key dates, mapping it out, and look at, what are the things that you can do then. Write down what kind of offers you can create, what kind of campaigns you can run. Is there a special offer that you can do for National Love Your Pet Day? Is it a mini session that you can do for Valentine's Day? Is there a business that you can approach, collaborate with? Write down these different ideas for those key dates. I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that. And let me know in the chat if anyone needs any help. I'm going to have a look at the chat. Right. No. Has everyone written down anything already? Feel free to put it in the chat so that maybe people have some ideas. What are some ideas of different dates in the first 3 quarters? Dog of the Year. Yep. Oh, awesome. That's a good one. Dog of the Year campaign. Do you take any sample shot? Yes, I do take sample shot, Lisa. Scheduled local markets. Yep. Book project launch. That's awesome. End of winter snow sessions. Valentine's Day, Mummy and Me. I love that. Partner with a chocolate flower company. That's a great idea, Joanne. There you go. See, there's already really, really good ideas here. So yeah, so looking at those dates and then trying to map out what campaigns that you can do. Different campaign types. As I said, you've got your partnership with a local chocolate company. You've got your seasonal theme session, mini sessions. Another thing that you can do also, re-engagement. Reach out to past clients. Use it as a way to reach out to past clients and go, hey, it's been a while since you booked in. It's the new year. How's your dogs? Maybe you did a session when they were a puppy, so maybe encourage them to book in and create a special offer for past clients. Or if you've got photos from this session and go, is there something that you want to create that we haven't already created for you? And then after that, then we need to map it out in the calendar. And also then you work backwards, looking at, okay, what do you need to do for the campaigns? Do you need to do an email marketing nurture? Do you need to do a social media post? Do you need to do an announcement of the campaigns, landing pages, and map these out on the calendar, but also break it down into little chunks and map it out in your calendar or project management software. And then that way it doesn't feel as overwhelming. So does that help? No worries, Michelle. Yep, love your pet day. Awesome. All right. Has everyone at least got some notes about the key dates that we have for next year, the different possible campaign types and collaboration, and then what you can do after this is just start to mapping out in your calendar and start breaking it down into little chunks. I hope that's been helpful. Awesome. All right, we're going to finish up soon, but I just wanted to ask who has resonated with the content today. Have you found it useful? I hope it's been insightful. Type yes in the chat if it has been useful, very helpful. Awesome. Amazing. Now, before we finish up, I want to share how you can then also, like, the next steps for those of you who want to continue developing this area or who need help. And I can share something that I've created, so I hope that's okay with you. Awesome. This is not for everyone. It's not going to be a quick fix. It's not for people who aren't open to learn to take action and grow a business. But if you're a portrait photographer, pet photographer who wants to get your marketing right and you're committed and actually want to take action and serious about doing the work, then this is for you. So this is what it looks like in practice. So one of my previous client who has done this, Suzanne, has started doing this, just a business. She started doing her pet photography business recently, but she did it my marketing workshop and she have found it really useful and it actually helped her launch her business and resulted in a number of leads and bookings before she even finished the workshop. So I hope that means that if it's helpful for Suzanne, it will be helpful for people who actually have an established photography business. What this workshop is called, I've called it a consistent bookings workshop. It's not very creative, I know, but I was trying to work out how can I communicate this without creating too many creative names for it. It's creating a framework and how you book consistent clients monthly without social media. There'll be 3 live workshops, which will start in November 5th. So that's just in 5 days. There will be recordings. So you've got lifetime access to the recordings as well. There'll be actionable lessons with each workshop. I like to do it as a live workshop because like today, it'll be interactive. We'll get you to do the work on the call as well. And then you can always ask me any questions. I've also built some custom chat GPT bots, which I think has been really useful. I've had a few people here that have used it. Michelle, who was on here before, but she left, she's used a couple of my chat GPT that I built on here, and that's been really good. With the workshops, this is the workshops at a glance. For the first workshop, we're going to actually talk about your dream clients. So I know someone asked about how do you work out your ideal clients. This is where you're going to clarify your dream clients, your ideal clients, and get crystal clear on who they are and how you start talking to them, making sure your messaging is really honed in. I've created a couple of custom GPT that will ask you all the questions. And you don't need chat GPT for this. I'll also give you out the questions, but it will just help you in basically thinking about who is it that you want to work with, who are the types of people you want to work with. The second workshop will be all about the strategic campaign planning, talking about the pillars, which campaign suits your business best. We'll cover all different types of campaigns and then you can then pick and choose the ones that you like. And then the third workshop will then start planning your next 90 days of marketing priorities. We'll zoom in on the next 90 days and create your detailed action plan. What do you need to be doing each week? So that by the end of the 3 workshops, you'll have a framework you need to start putting in all this marketing system and implement it immediately to get bookings. Because ultimately, what I really want you to have is bookings and start making money. And that's all the ultimate goal of this. The workshops are going to be between 60 to 90 minutes each on November 5th, the 12th, and 19th. And we're going to dive in each of these topics. And you'll also have the opportunity to ask questions live. You'll have lifetime access to the recording. So if you can't make it live, you have lifetime access, and feel free to send through questions if you can't make it live. But there'll be also some bonuses as well. In addition to the lifetime recordings, you've got the lifetime recordings to the materials. The second thing I talked about before, you've got your ideal client clarity AI toolkit. So this is a client avatar creation wizard that I've created. It's going to ask you quite a lot of questions. So it might take about an hour or two for you to actually get through the whole steps. And then there will also be another ChatGPT prompt or tutorial that actually I will give you that you can ask on ChatGPT or Google Gemini to act as your ideal client so that you can test your messaging and validate some of your messaging, your captions, your offers, your emails. And that's really going to help you. So that way you're not starting with a blank page. And I'm not saying that you just copy and paste whatever the AI spits out, because obviously you don't want that. But this is going to help you to start getting past the blank page and giving your ideas, and then you can then customize it and make it your own. The Brand Compass Custom GPT, again, it's another custom GPT I've created, and it's going to create some instruction for chat or the AI tool to then make sure that it creates the content in your brand voice and tone. You'll feed it examples of your writing, your emails, your social media posts, and making sure that when you instruct it, you actually create something that sounds more like you. Obviously, as I said, you need to still review it, you need to adjust it, but you're now starting with something that's 75% of the way there instead of 0%. That is the power of AI when you use it correctly. You'll also get the 12-month marketing calendar template. I know we're planning everything in 90 days, but I like to also have an overview of the 12 months. So you'll get this in the Google Sheets or ClickUp, which is a project management template that I use. And then you'll get also 3-week Voxer access to me. So Voxer is a messaging voice app. So you'll have access to me 3 weeks throughout the workshop. You can send me a message if you've got a question, for example, like how should I run my competition? How do I approach this pet store about marketing? And I will answer it as soon as I get, because this way I can access it directly instead of sending it through emails, which I have hundreds of emails to go through. And that way you'll get real-time personalized support while you're actually implementing. And then you'll also have a pre-workshop preparation kit. So this is going to allow you to start diving into the workshops. I'll have some reflection tools talking about your clients, some goals. So that way when we first dive into the workshop, you'll have some kind of an idea and we'll actually dive in straight into the topic. And then community access as well. So you'll connect with other photographers going through the same journey and get support and accountability, sharing your wins. And having a community is priceless, and having support of people in the same journey as you is really important. So this is all what's going to include in the workshop. You've got a total value of $1,500, and this is Australian dollars, by the way, so not US, and it's going to be really, really good. But the price is only $790. But before I go into that, I want to also show one of another client or graduates that have done this. So Sharon did my workshop in the last round, and she's just said that you've over-delivered. You showed how to map out marketing, what marketing really is, and that she's really excited to build her marketing now with clarity and the help that I offer afterwards as well. Joanne, she loved it. That's great. Did she talk to you about it, Joanne? Amazing. Yeah, and I really just want to help other photographers succeed. And I think it's really important having support, because for me, I've also had support along the way. I've always had coaches and mentors, and also having other pet photographers as a community has been really helpful. And really, what is it really worth to you? Because how much would you pay to get consistent bookings every month, to get clients who don't question your prices, and to get freedom marketing panic? The workshop, as I said, even though it's valued at 1,500, it's only $790 Australian, which is 520 US dollars. It's not a cost, it's an investment in your business, and the true cost is really staying stuck where you are. If you've got no bookings, that's going to cost you thousands of potential revenue. Attracting bargain hunters costing you energy. Feast-or-famine is costing you the peace of mind. So it's really important to invest in your business. And I do the same too. I've always been investing in my business. I've just spent 20,000 US dollars on the mastermind, which is insane when you think about it. And some of these tools I'm going to use to help with other people as well. So yeah. And again, this is not going to be just theory. It's not passive. We're going to work on a live workshop to actually break it down into actionable tasks, planning it out so that you can implement it and you get real guidance from me. And the thing is as well is I've got 30-day money back guarantee. So if you show up to all the 3 workshops, you complete all the exercises and you choose at least one campaign to run and you take action and you don't see any increase in bookings, then let me know and I'll happily refund it in full, because I want to make sure that it works for you and I want to make sure that you actually get the bookings. I'm just going to go straight through here because we nearly run out of times. It's just $790, or you can pay in 3 monthly payments, and you can do that it's in Australian dollars, but you can convert to US dollars. So 520 US dollars, it might change on the conversion, or 207 US dollars monthly payments over 3 months. Let me make this really concrete. If all this did was help you book just 2 additional sessions per month, let's say at $1,000 each, that's an extra $24,000 per year. Or if it helps you raise your prices by just even $100 per session because you're attracting higher value clients, and then you shoot 20 sessions per year, that's an extra $2,000 annually. Or if it saves you just 5 hours per month of marketing stress and confusion, that's 60 hours per year you get back to spend with your family or on your craft. Would any one of these outcomes be worth $790? I would think so. And the potential return that you can get for 790 Australian dollars could be thousands, 24,000s, or even more. Also, if you do sign up now on the webinar, I'm going to give you some extra bonuses. So if you do sign up in the next 48 hours, because we are starting soon, I want to make sure that you get some more extra bonuses. So if you do sign up, you'll get a follow-up live group strategy deep dive session. So this is another session in addition to the 3 workshop. We'll go through your 90-day plans and provide feedback and troubleshooting. We can then talk through and help you map out some of the campaigns. I'll also include the Confidence Accelerator Kit. So this is some confidence scripts and frameworks, how to handle objections for common client concerns, how to position your photography to make sure that you communicate the value. And then I'll also include the Pet Photographer Content Copilot, which is like an AI tool as well, that is going to help you to brainstorm content ideas for social media, email marketing, blog posts, and helping it write in your brand voice and tone. So these are really, really great bonuses, but I'm also going to add another bonus. If I run this workshop again, you can attend all the future live workshops for free. So you'll get the latest updates and strategies, and you'll have a lifetime learning access to this, and you'll network with the new cohorts too. So these are the extra bonuses if you take action soon, and you get all of this, including the workshops, the 3 workshops, the Client Clarity Toolkit, the lifetime recordings, the Brand Compass Custom Chat GPT, the Marketing Calendar Template, the Voxer Access, pre-workshop preparation kit, and then the fast action bonuses. Does that sound like it's a good deal? Yeah? If you do want to join in, make sure you scan this QR code or look at the link below. So I'm gonna copy and paste the link. Let me find my chat. So that way, yeah, the live workshop will be, so it'll be at 8:30 a.m. So a bit earlier than today. But as I said, it will be recorded. So 8:30 a.m. Sydney time. I'm not sure what time it is in your time, Stacy. So I'll click, oops. Hopefully you can't hear my dog bark. There's a link in the chat works. All right. Perfect. Now, because you've stayed live until the end, here are the links to your bonuses. So you can download the bonus for the webinar here. Yeah. Yes, Stacey, 5:30 p.m. That's it. So here are the bonuses. So scan the QR code. I'm going to put in the link in the chat as well. So that way you can download the bonuses. There should be links in there. Let me put it in the chat. Hopefully you can see it. Yeah. So there should be the 3 bonuses on there, and there'll be a link to the workshop. I'm glad it has been great. You found it helpful, Kimberly. That is awesome. Q&A, any questions? I'm going to leave the QR code. Yeah, feel free to unmute and ask me any questions. Thanks. Awesome.
I've got a question, or am I supposed to put up my hand? Or
Yeah. No, feel free to ask a question.
Okay, this has been great, by the way, and I know Sharon absolutely loved the course.
Yes.
What I wanted to ask you though is, if we join, do we have to do a 90-day plan for the next 3 months? Like in where I live in Canada, I'm not going to get out that much. Like it's dark at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and it's freezing cold. So I would really like to target the spring.
Yeah,
So
we
would
don't
I
have
wait?
to. No, what we'll do, you'll have all the frameworks you need. We can do a 90-day or even a 12-month marketing framework for you, Joanne.
Okay.
You don't need to focus on that. But, with this course, you'll have all the tools you need to then help out plan the rest of your year and making sure that you can plan out a system that will help you, generate your consistent booking. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Leanne. You're awesome.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
And as I said, I'm working on creating some more AI tools to actually help build the campaign, like a campaign builder tools. I'm still just doing some testing at the moment. I'm actually getting some of my previous workshop members to test it out. Like email. I've got an email campaign wizard and a 12-month marketing calendar wizard. It's still in progress, but hopefully, because when you sign up, you'll have access to it after I've finished building it, after I've finished testing it out as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No worries. Yeah, so, and if you're in my school group, there is an extra special as well. There's a little special discount code. Sorry, guys. I've managed to actually get through the whole workshop without coughing too much and dying, but I think my voice is starting to go. Hold on a sec. I'm just gonna get some water. Oh, thank you, Maggie. Yeah, so I've lost my train of thought. Oh yes, if you're not in my school community, join it because there'll be an extra $100 off code in there. So if you're not already in there, make sure to join it and actually get the $100 off. So it'll be only $690 instead of $790. That's Australian dollars. I'm not sure what the conversion is for the 690 US. Let me have a look. So that will be 450 US. You're in the school group. Yep. I've put a link in the chat. You can join. Yeah. Yeah, Joe. I wanted to make sure that the Australian feels like I'm Australian as well. So but I do want to help everyone else as well. So it's 520 for US and 790 for Australian dollars. You'll get $100 off if you join the school group. There's a pin post in there and a code in there. So before you join, make sure you grab that code and take off the $100 off, because I would love you to join in the workshop. I've worked with 8 photographers last round, and I want to work with even more. And I know you guys are amazing. It'll be a great community. I think one of the biggest feedback that I got was actually having a supportive community to bounce ideas off. Yes, Lisa. So make sure you scan the QR code and sign up. Any other questions while I'm still on the call? Or even not just about the workshop, about marketing, anything. Because I want to use this time to answer your questions about marketing. And then I have 6 minutes left, so I think I've got someone coming at 12:30. So let me know. You want a photo workshop in the Gold Coast? All right, I'm going to try, Kim. I think if any Aussies here, the PPBN is doing a conference. If you filled in the expression of interest, I have told Mark that I would love to do an outdoor workshop as part of that. So if we get the numbers that we need, I might be able to go up there and hopefully do one of the workshops. Because the outdoor workshops is fun. So, and Gold Coast would be nice and by the beach. Yes, awesome. Well, any other questions at all before I go? Before we finish off? No?
In the workshops or in the mentoring, will we be looking at the pricing, like product pricing and stuff as well?
It's mainly marketing, but I'm happy
Yep.
to address any questions about product pricing too.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll be happy to address some of those. But as I say, you've got the Q&A as well at the end of each workshops. So if you're struggling with pricing, I'm happy to cover that. Awesome. So I just want to say thank you so much for spending the last hour and a half with me. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the workshop. Amazing. Thank you. All right. Bye.